This old man looks very gentle and kind, but inside he is actually a cold-blooded cannibal. If anyone displeases him, he will definitely go to the altar to look at naked chickens. But Hannibal gets it. The police use him because he has an IQ of up to 300. So how talented is this man, and what is his purpose in killing? Please join me in watching this super movie. In the East, in America, a very brutal killer appeared. He had a hobby of stripping people off and selling them for money. The FBI found a suspect with curly hair, but no one knew where he was hiding. One day, the female lead Clarice was in training when suddenly her boss summoned her back to the FBI headquarters to take on an important mission, which was to go to the mental hospital and ask her father for the name of the sick doctor, Hannibal, and at the same time know the purpose and behavior of the perpetrator because they both have the same tricks, who know he may have useful information related to several murders. Clarice was even threatened by the boss that the doctor was a prostitute, the monster that liked to eat people, even cut off more than 1,000 tons and almost tore off a nurse's face. However, the beautiful lady did not panic and calmly walked in. There are many crazy people here, crazy but extremely dangerous. They were all locked up separately from each pay to avoid rebellion. After passing through the hallway, Hannibal room gradually appeared. In front of them were large glass panel separating this crazy guy from the other side. On the outside, looking at his face, he looks very gentle and kind. His dressing style is neat and friendly with a friendly greeting. If no one knew that this was a murderer, the women would definitely fall down right away. At first glance, Clarice also responded respectfully, but that could not fool the doctor because he had previously been a scientist specializing in psychological research. Of course, she was beautiful before he could sit down. Then he already guessed the purpose. She came here. The FBI wants to exploit information related to that serial killer. In addition, Hannibal's also mentioned that the investigator who came to ask him last time has now merged with the motherland, but that didn't shake Clarice's spirit. However, the doctor was not satisfied with the questions related to himself, so he used his psychological manipulation skills to start teasing her into a sparrow that he wanted to turn into. Eagle, are you hiding the painful feelings from your childhood so your heart won't be seen through? The beautiful woman angrily left and was suddenly yelled at by the psychopath in the next room. Hannibal suddenly got angry and yelled at her, scolded. It turns out he hates people who act rudely towards women like that. Then he called the female lead back and revealed important information. If you want to get promoted, you should quickly find one of his patient. Previously, following the clue she had just obtained, she quickly went to an old garage in the dark. OMG, it was very difficult to observe. She had to look everywhere. Then she found a strange piece of cloth, so she was curious and opponed it. Sure enough, she opened it first. A very scary scene appeared in her eyes. A woman's head had been stripped off, revealing her face. Clary turned back to find the doctor to talk to Hannibal and offered him the condition that if she gave a window, she would give him a window. There will be more information, but the female protagonist does not have enough authority to respond, which means she cannot collect any more clues, and at this time, the serial killer has also acted fakely, pretending to be a kind person, intentionally helping the girl on the side of the road, then knocking the target unconscious, and then performing his Tie act. He happily stripped off the victim clothes and left after finishing his job. This crime really still has no answer. Next, there are still a series of similar cases. It seems that his target is girls with a little skin, but these girls show no signs of being abused. All of them were not given food or water. Then for 3 days they were drowned in the river and died. It was not until the following week that the FBI received information that in the west of town there was a body of a woman who had been brutally murdered. People discovered it washed up on the riverbank. The autopsy results showed that the victim had 2 giant diamond-shaped wounds like a butterfly being taken away. The wings were extremely scary. She looked beautiful at this time. When she saw something strange in the photo, her father asked her to find out that there was a pupa in the body throat. She then went to an insert expert and discovered an important detail. He confirmed that this was the larvae of an Asian moth species cannot naturally fly into the victim's mouth. Surely the perpetrator did this and wanted to leave a hidden meaning. Not long after, the media also reported on the case. Hey, it turns out that murderer kidnapped the daughter of a senator. This event caused a lot of ink in the media. She even directly begged him to spare her poor daughter on tea, making the government angry. The FBI is under increasing pressure. Clarice decides to once again go to the doctor with some important documents. She tries to convince him to help her and in return will be transferred to another prison with full facilities. Something like wanting such a good opportunity, how could Hannibal let it go? However, he also conditioned her that Clarice must answer to him what her saddest memory was. But to say it, father death is the biggest wound in life. After the pretty girl told all about her sad story, Hannibal didn't ask anymore but gave an important clue. In fact, the murderer wanted to become a woman, so always looking for beautiful young girl to take advantage of them. The two of them chatted so engrossed that they didn't notice that the boss was eavesdropping on them so that he could rob Clarice of all her work. After the heroine left, the boss immediately ordered the doctor to stop and said that he had been tricked by her. As long as he revealed the criminal's identity now, he would be taken to a 5-star hotel to rest. Of course, Hannibal did not trust this guy, so he only provided half of the information, which was the truth. After listening, the boss happily escorted the doctor to the hotel, where the senator was also present. She said that as long as her daughter could be letting him out will help him move to a better place to live with the requirements he wants to see. This is not a lie. So Hannibal revealed all the information about the murderer. He is the boyfriend of a patient. Because I treated him, he is m8 tall, weighs 80 kilograms, has curly brown hair, is about 35 years old. After listening, the senator kept his promise. She sent someone to transfer the doctor to an iron cage located right in the middle of the luxurious room. Clary also immediately went to that hotel to meet Bal to find more clues, but the conditions remained the same. He wanted to hear more about the sad story of the female lead and why she only stayed in her house for 2 months and then left. A sad look appeared on the heroine Clarice's face. She recounted how one day she witnessed someone crazy stabbing and slashing the nines. From then on, every night, she heard the cries of despair from the creatures. That poor soul cries were like rubbing salt on my wound. After hearing that, the doctor excitedly compared the senator daughter to his poor Uncle Q and asked the female agent if only that sheep could live. Then you will no longer be haunted by the sound of sheep, right? Before you could answer, Clary was dragged out by the police. However, before leaving, the two of them promptly went to the signal about the clues of the case. Hannibal didn't even forget the dancer loud voice. Clary's sad story moved the doctor. It gave him more motivation to escape from prison that night. Hannibal pretended to be excited and wanted to order more food to lure the guards closer to them. Little Defense did as requested and even smugly smirked at the doctor because he was handcuffed and couldn't do anything. However, the two of them underestimated the ability of this genius, and then Hannibal took advantage of the device. The pen he stole from the old man earlier succeeded in unlocking the handcuffs, then gently transferred them to one policeman's hand, then quickly attacked the other, enjoying the old feeling of killing in the past that made the doctor feel in his heart. Crazy feeling refreshed outside. The elevator kept running from the 3rd floor to the 5th floor, and vice versa. The police worriedly ran to find out the cause. But when they arrived, everyone was horrified to see their colleague was hanging in the middle of the room in the station. Ty's stomach was slit and Hannibal was nowhere to be seen. They panicked and called an ambulance to take him to the hospital. At this time, drops of blood fell one after another from the NC elevator. The police went up to check and discovered a person hanging upside down had his face peeled off. But it wasn't him. It was the person taken away by the medical staff. Just now it was the doctor disguised as Hannibal, who suddenly stood up, peeled off the guard's face and treated him. Whatever happens will happen based on the ominous signals that the doctor provided earlier. Clarice also found the crux of the problem, got information, and the female lead immediately went to that person's house. When she opened the closet, she was surprised to see dresses decorated with 2 diamond shapes made from people. Another clue was revealed. Clarice reported to her superiors that the killer was a person who was good at sewing. The girl buttocks and backs were used to make clothes. The victim were often chubby because they had more skin and it would shrink if they were starved for a few days. After speaking, Clary quickly went to find the victim's best friend and found out. Another important clue was that her friend used to work at a tailor shop, so it was very possible that the murderer was living there. So right after that, the FBI sent a powerful force to surround the entire tailor shop. However, I don't know if it was because of the hot weather that made me confused or what, but the FBI aggressively went straight to the wrong address of a house, making the homeowner bewildered and afraid to vomit in his pants. At the same time, the hostage in the well was being held. The blood stains and fingerprints of the dead people were terrifying, and the murderer brought his dog every day to tease the girl. But the senator daughter was not the type to lie still and wait for her death. Taking advantage of the rope and bone, he successfully lured his dog to fall into the well. Not long after, the murderer heard the pet cry for help. He immediately ran out to see and saw it in the hands of his hostage. The angry murderer was about to teach the girl a lesson, but at this time Clarice also came knocking on the door outside. However, he remained calm and acted very professionally after hearing his lies. The female lead almost lost her life. She was fooled again until a butterfly flew and landed on the thread. She immediately pulled out her gun, but he had already run down to the secret cellar. Clarice immediately chased after her. However, the deeper she went, the deeper this place became, even darker. The female lead finds the room where the congressman's daughter is locked, but ignores her call for help to continue chasing murderer. He transforms into NGO Tattoo, turns off all the lights and blends into the darkness, toying with Clarice, but the female lead fighting ability is not as good as her senses and experience. She heard the sound when the enemy reloaded. Clarice immediately turned her back and frantically fired, killing the murderer. Peaceful and beautiful. Finally the case was over and the senator daughter was freed. Clary became an official FBI investigator. At the party, Hannibal did not forget to call to congratulate her. He asked her, "Have you found that little sheep yet? Are you still woken up by the sheep sound?" Clary tried to ask about his whereabouts, but H&B just smiled and said how interesting the world has become with you. After saying so much, he immediately turned off the camera, and that was the end of the movie. Hello and see you again, everyone.